Hey everyone, welcome to our Asset Management Friday segment of the Passive Income Through Multifamily Real Estate podcast. I'm your co-host, Kyle Mitchell, also joined by Gary Lipsky. This is a new segment that we recently launched. It's focused on educating operators, building better systems, and becoming a best-in-class operator. Since we're also live on Facebook right now, please make sure to type in any questions you have in the comment section below. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook group, Passive Income Through Multifamily Real Estate. All right, today on the show, we have Merrill Kaliser. How you doing, Merrill?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing well, thanks. If we can start by telling the listeners a little bit more about yourself and what you currently do.
Sure. I'm based in Dallas, Texas, actually Plano, Texas. I've got a syndication boutique law firm out of Plano, Texas, and we typically represent clients throughout the Southwest United States that buy multifamily, mobile park homes, storage facilities, ventures like that. Formerly, I'm a corporate bankruptcy lawyer of 10 years, a large firm, worked on numerous high-profile bankruptcy cases, mostly represented secured creditors and debtors. Small little company like Enron is an example of one of the ones I was stuck on for 3 years. And I've got a title company. I'm also a syndicator like you guys. And I've got a licensed real estate brokerage in 10 states. Other than that, not much.
Yeah, you seem kind of, bored, not much to do.
Well, now that we're confined to our homes, I thought I'd have more time. I have less time now. I was better at the office.
Well, let's talk about key performance indicators, because I've seen some of your posts on Facebook and I was really impressed. So I wanted to share that with our listeners. How do you use the KPIs to manage your business?
It's funny. We talked briefly for a second before we started the show. So we have multiple businesses. We even have a helium business, and we have I don't know if I can say it to California guys, but a medical marijuana indoor growing business in a state where it's legal. We use KPIs on every single business that generates revenue and or has expenses going out. When we have multiple businesses and in multiple parts of quite honestly the country, we need to be able to look at a moment's notice how something is doing. So literally, in the old days, people get up and they go out their front door and they get the newspaper. I haven't read a newspaper in how long? Obviously, I'm listening to news 24/7 right now because of what's going on. But the first thing I do when I wake up every morning is I look in my inbox, and I have about 17 different KPIs, which I think you guys are gonna put an example of one of them on here. And these KPIs, key performance indicators, they typically will hit about, I'm gonna say 40 to 50 particular things I want to know about my or our companies at any given time. So it's great. Like, most of the listeners presumably are going to be more engaged in multifamily. And so the example that we've got for you guys is multifamily. It's actually a real example. I redacted to keep the innocent. But I could write a book on just the page you guys are looking at. I use this sometimes to send to investors or parts of it. And it's funny, Merrill adds color is what everybody says. And I get so excited about looking at the KPIs and the information that they give me. I literally will go, it'll be like a 4-page email. And then I got to break it down because everybody gets annoyed because there's so much information. A picture is worth 1,000 words. I've essentially got 30 to 40 pictures on here. So it just doesn't stop.
So what would be your 3 most important KPIs and why? Because it could get overwhelming for someone. So what are you focused on the most?
So as a syndicator, and I believe it's most syndicators, we focus on 2 things the most: property management and asset management, because they all involve income and expenses. And so obviously, and I know this may be used for later purposes, but we're in the middle of COVID-19 protocols with everybody on lockdown. So today, like this second, information is key to everybody, and it's harder to get access to since we don't have a lot of one-on-one. So for me, it's great. I know right now I'm actually looking at KPIs that I've collected 96.9% of my rent on a particular property I'm looking at. I will know, and that's probably normal for right now because of the current environment. We know that people have decided that they're not going to pay, even some that were going to pay late. But I look at rent collections. I look at the big one I look at is I'm looking at them right now. Notice to vacates, and my KPIs show notice to vacates out 90 days. So I don't look at what's notice to vacating in 30. I look at what's notice to vacating in 60, 90, and then get with our property management team and instantly, hey, you start targeting these people now. And every day a new one will pop up, and another one will pop off. So I would say rent collection, notice to vacate, and you guys are going to laugh. Length of time work orders are out there. Everybody's got their pet peeves. I have 40 to choose from. So like my 3 hot buttons right now: work orders, notice to vacates, and rent collection, percent collected every single day, and it gives a dollar amount as well. And then I have a graph that shows how it looks compared to last month, the month before, and the month before, to make sure everything is consistent. It'd be very interesting to see how April looks, which makes KPIs even more beneficial to us because we can know in 1 day's notice if it's going flat or it's still going up on the 2nd and the 3rd of the month.
Nice. Yeah, that's critical information. It makes you a much more effective asset manager. Absolutely. Who manages data, and what tools are you using for that?
So it's a shame I didn't bring my COO, who's also my best friend. His name's Jeff Satz. He's a Lean Six Sigma black belt, which has nothing to do with karate. He's just he's a black belt of the mind. Very good friend, completely opposite of me. Everybody loves him. People don't like me. But he was at Nortel and Ericsson for 20 plus years in the programming environment. So he has automated every aspect of all of my businesses, or I should say our businesses. He's an owner in them as well. And so we basically are pulling data out of any particular system we're using. We have probably 9 different software systems we use in the different businesses, and we pull that raw data out. And quite honestly, he's using a BI software called Tableau. And with Tableau, he writes very, very, very succinct scripts per business, and it's wonderful. I mean, I get pretty colors, pretty charts. Red means bad, green means good, yellow and orange mean uh-oh. And we also, it's interesting, I get the emails, but in the office, right now the office is closed, but in the office when it's up and running, we have 60-inch flat screens in different parts of the office. We have KPIs for employees. And it shows if the employee is like, if a certain task is piling up on that particular employee. It's not to say, oh, the employee is bad, but if another one of our employees walks by and sees yellow on, Joe next door, that employee will go and ask, hey, Joe, do you need some help? And so, and nobody wants to see their name in yellow or orange or red. And I'm old and I can't read names, but from my office, I can see the screen. And so every once in a while, I'll just yell out of my office, somebody's in yellow or orange, just to have fun. But we use them also in the workplace, not just for the C-suite.
I love it. I love having it out there for everyone to see, and for your team to work together and fix a situation. That's amazing. Are there any KPIs that an asset manager wouldn't think of to check that you guys are doing?
It's funny. So I'm gonna look through my KPIs real quick because I look at every one of these. Let's see. Oh yeah. This is one that I asked for from Jeff to prepare. So leads, everybody leads, meaning, different sources of prospects that come in. And so software out there, even Rent Cafe, which is a big Yardi component that we used for years. We use a bunch of different software programs, but they have somewhat of an ability to track leads. So we have something, it's really cool. It'll be on the sheet that's posted here, but we track Facebook, apartments.com, drive-by referral, website, that means our own personal website, walk-in Google, apartment guide, transfer on sites, because we have an incentive for people transferring, and just regular marketing. And it shows total number of leads. and it has a cumulative number of traffic. So we want to know is conversions. So we have that as a pretty graph for me because I don't like to look at the numbers. They're too small, but I have pretty graphs and the number always goes up, hopefully. And then right below that, we have overall prospect to tenant conversion, which is really cool to look at because sometimes you're putting money in Facebook ads or you are spending money with apartments.com. And so you want to know what your cost per tenant actually is. And so if I'm spending $1,000 a month and I'm getting one tenant in on apartments.com, but I'm getting, 10.9% conversion on Facebook, which is costing me nothing, I change, you kind of mix things up to see where the optimum level is. So I think that is a huge, huge, huge focus, and it's a predictor of how your revenue will look over the next 30, 60 days because you're tracking prospective tenants today. They're going to be signing in 15 to 30 days.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked that one out because that one caught my eye when you sent it over and I looked at it. So yeah, that's a good one. Kyle, let me pass it over to you to close it out.
All right. We ask every guest this last question. I think I know the answer to yours, but what is your asset management superpower?
What's my asset management superpower? My team. I know that's a corny word. It's just team. Can't do it by yourself.
Yeah, it's all about the team. So, all right, perfect. Well, thanks for coming on the show and talking about KPIs with us today. I learned a bunch of things. Immediate info is key, not just info. Collection of rent, notice to vacate, and work orders are your top 3 items you're looking at right now. And then the thing I loved was cost per tenant. So not just your conversion to leads, but breaking it down even a step further and talking about what are you paying to convert those into leads. So cost per tenant. So if you can tell the listeners a little bit more about where they can find you.
Sure. First, thanks guys for having me on. I love your show. Second time to be on in a week. You guys are awesome. You can find me at Kaliser Law, KALISERLAW.com. You can find me on Facebook, Facebook Merrill Kaliser. Feel free to ask questions. I'm one of the only lawyers out there that doesn't charge you by the answer.
Awesome. Yeah, you provide a ton of info on Facebook. I definitely encourage people to check that out. I'm on there. You've got my face glued to your feed right now because all the stuff you're posting about COVID. So thanks for everyone for listening in. If you do like this episode, please head over to iTunes and Stitcher. Give us a like, subscribe, and review so we can continue to grow this podcast. And we'll talk to everyone next week. Hey, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. If you're interested in learning more about APT Capital Group and speaking to someone on our team, click on the link and schedule a call with us. We're here to help, and we'd be excited to speak with you and get to know more about you and your goals. Talk to you soon.